Spirit rarely shouts. More often, it whispers, not through words, but through symbols, like a feather appearing at the exact moment you needed reassurance, a butterfly crossing your path during a time of transformation, a reoccurring image in dreams that refuses to be forgotten, a symbol that keeps appearing until you finally pay attention. Most people spend their lives surrounded by symbols without ever learning how to read them. Ancient cultures understood something we've largely forgotten. The world speaks in images. The soul speaks in images. Spirit often speaks in images. In today's Mystical Minds, we're exploring the language of symbols, why symbolic communication appears so frequently in spiritual experiences, and how to begin understanding the messages hidden within the images that surround you. Because sometimes guidance arrives as an image, right? It arrives as a symbol waiting to be understood. And I'd like to welcome you guys to the Mystical Minds podcast. I'm your host, Allie Thies. I'm the creator of Out of Body Ecstasy and Soulful Connections, with over 40 years of experience as a psychic, energy worker, and soul connection specialist. Over the years, I've written 9 books, including my current, The Constant Cravings of Soulful Connections, Satisfy the Unshakable Power of Soulmates and Twin Flames. It is out now. I've been walking the mystical path since childhood, and now I help others reconnect with their true selves through intuitive readings, soul work, the Soulful Connections Academy, and the safe, sacred space of the mystical minds. This podcast is your invitation to explore the magical, metaphysical, and the wildly mysterious side of life. From energy healing to spirit guides, soulmates to sacred rituals, nothing is off limits here. So grab your tea, light a candle, and let's dive into the mystery together. Hi, guys. I hope you've had a chance to grab my new book, The Constant Cravings of Soulful Connections. If you have, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. If you enjoyed the book, please leave a review here on Amazon so that other people can find it and learn about soulmates and twin flames as well. Ah, yes, soulmates and twin flames. One of my favorite things to talk about. And with the release of Constant Cravings, I am working on right now the Soulful Connections Academy, where we're going to continue exploring soul level relationships in a grounded, emotionally aware environment, right? And I still want to thank everyone who has supported my work throughout the years, who's listened to this podcast, who's joined Mystical Minds, and who's been along on this journey with me. It's been an interesting time, to say the least. So, that said, let us go on to the card of the week. And I'm going to continue working with Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. And let's see what we draw for this week. Now, if you happen to listen to this episode, oh, I don't know, a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, I mean, heck, Ask Allie went on for what, 19 years? So, whenever you find me and this episode, this card is for you for the week. All right? Okay, so let's shuffle here. I've got a cat in my way. I know you guys are shocked with that. Um, today's kitty cat would happen to be Kiton, as I call him. Kiton. Hello, Kiton. His real name is Simba. But when I found him 15 years ago, he was the only kitten in the house. That's when I had Samantha, Darren, and Trouble. And then my 2 dogs, Indiana Jones and Brody. Yeah, he was the only kitten, and we started calling him Kitten, and it has stuck for the last 15 years. So he is relaxing next to me, taking up most of my desk space. So let's see if we can pick a card here around the cat. How about let's choose this one. What do we got? The ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. So something's going to happen this week. Um, Usually, when I get something that says it's happening for you, not to you, it can be something just a tad bit upsetting. Maybe you didn't get the paycheck you thought, didn't get the job you wanted. Um, could be you didn't hear from the person you wanted to hear from, or the opportunity you were hoping for didn't present itself. Whatever doesn't go your way this week, it's happening for you, not to you. That was an important lesson I had to learn. Uh, And I have to remind myself of that when something crappy happens. And, I'm just like everybody else. Crappy stuff does happen to me. Um, I always have to remember it's happening for me, not to me. And so when you think of something with that frame of mind, you can allow yourself to be open for spirit or source to show you the way to wherever you need to be. All right? Okay. So moving on, let's talk about the mystical item of the week. This week it's the key. Just a simple, ordinary key. Now, throughout history, keys have symbolized access, knowledge, opportunity, initiation, and hidden wisdom. A key is more than just an object. It represents a threshold, something becoming available that was previously inaccessible. Because remember what I just said? It's happening to you. It's happening for you, not to you. There we go. So this key, it makes it a perfect symbol for this week's discussion, right? Because symbols are keys. They unlock meanings. They reveal deeper layers of awareness. This week, keep a key in your pocket, on your desk, or near your meditation space. And each time you notice it, ask yourself, what is trying to unlock itself in my awareness right now? And then sometimes the symbol becomes the message. Ooh, I know. Well, that's because this monthly theme is divination in symbolic language. And today we're talking about the language of symbols, how spirit speaks through images. Now, at the bottom of the show's notes for resources for the episode, I have listed three resources, three books that can get you started, give you a good foundation on researching and understanding more about symbols. My podcast, it's only a jumping off point. It's to spark curiosity within you. And once the curiosity is sparked, then you go off and you do a deeper dive. All right? Okay. So, why do symbols speak to us so powerfully? Good question. Well, human beings are wired for symbols. Long before the written language, humans communicated through images. You've seen them, cave paintings, you've heard about the myths, the sacred art, the stories. The subconscious mind continues to respond strongly to symbolic communication because symbols bypass ordinary analysis. A single image can communicate an entire emotional experience. Think about how quickly your mind responds to a heart or a skull and crossbones, a picture or an image of a doorway or a tree or a staircase. Immediately, associations arise with these. Emotions appear. Meaning begins to form. Spirit often uses symbols because symbols communicate in a language deeper than logic. The image reaches awareness before explanation does. This is why symbolic messages often feel immediate. You recognize them before you fully understand them. Oh, now some symbols, they appear across cultures. Some examples are the symbol of water or fire or snakes, birds, the sun, the moon, and of course doors and bridges. These archetypal symbols tend to carry similar themes regardless of the tradition. Water often relates to emotion. Fire often relates to transformation. Bridges often represent transition. Yet symbols are also deeply personal. A rose may symbolize love for one person. For another, it may represent grief, remembrance, or a specific relationship. This is where many people get confused. They search for universal meanings while overlooking the personal significance. The most accurate interpretation often combines both. The traditional meaning does matter. Your lived experience matters as well. Now, most symbolic communication doesn't happen during a formal, reading. It usually happens during ordinary moments. You repeatedly notice the same animal. You encounter the same image in multiple places. A dream presents a symbol over and over. A particular word keeps appearing in conversations. The key here is repetition. When a symbol appears once, notice it. When it appears repeatedly, pay attention to it. Patterns often signal that awareness is being invited somewhere. The symbol itself is not always the message. Sometimes it simply points toward the message. Think of symbols as signposts, and the sign is important, but it is directing your attention towards something larger. The best way to strengthen symbolic awareness is through observation. It's called slowing down, paying attention in the present while you notice what captures your attention. You pay attention to what repeats. You notice what feels emotionally charged. Ask yourself, why this symbol? Why now? What is happening in my life currently? What thoughts was I having when it appeared? Over time, you begin to notice connections. The symbol becomes less random. The message becomes clearer. Awareness develops through observation, not force. And case in point, at the end of 2025, I listed all of my topics for 26 for the mystical minds. Okay. And honestly, once I stop with the podcast and I go about my week, I honestly don't remember what what theme we're in because I have so many things going on. And then I remember the theme again when I start writing up today's podcast episode. Well, today's episode is all about symbols. And last night I started reading Dan Brown's book on symbols. I forget what the name of it is. Let me look it up. See, this is all in real time. And remember, I've told people before, I do not edit my podcasts. They show up just like just like life. Um, Let me see on my trying to check my phone, my Kindle on my phone to what I'm currently reading. From my that's not it. Library. Dan Brown. Dan Brown. Who I just love. I love his books. Lost Symbol is the name of the book. And with the lost symbol, obviously we're talking about symbolism, right? And his main character in these books is a symbologist, symbolologist. I forget how you say it, but he studies symbols. And I was actually reading a different book. I did two Dan Browns, and then I switched to another book about dreaming because I found it interesting. But the Dan book about symbols kept popping up in my head. It's like, oh my God, fine, I'll start reading it. So I'm reading it, and then what am I talking about today? Symbols. So I believe this is a sign for yours truly that I need to take this sparked curiosity about symbolism and I need to make the deep dive. Just, real life going about with the podcast episode. All right. So, one of the most powerful things you can do is create your own symbol journal, which is a good idea. You can record recurring animals, the dreams, the images, the numbers, the reoccurring themes, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You know, again, real life. This is sparking stuff in me. I need to write this down. Allie, do you have a piece of paper anywhere? A writer with no paper. I do have So, a handy dandy index card, yellow. All right. Develop symbol journal. Not only for me, but for other people. Because again, I am finding this completely fascinating. All right. So, what do we record in this journal? We can record recurring animals, dreams, images, numbers, reoccurring themes. Then write what was happening in your life when those symbols appeared. So, what's happening in my life right now? Well, the book came out. I'm working on the Soulful Connections Academy. I'm back in school working on my PhD. So, I'm working on books about that. I got a lot of shit going on. I do. Hmm. I'm going to have to give this a bigger think. Um, so, over time, we can tell when we write things down that patterns emerge. You may discover, again, butterflies appear whenever you're entering a period of growth, and I did see a couple of them early this morning. Owls appear before important insights. Bridges appear during transitions. Keys appear when opportunities are opening. Your symbolic language becomes uniquely yours. And this is where intuition becomes more personal and more precise. The goal is not to memorize things. This is not about memorization at all. The goal is to develop a relationship, an energy exchange between you and the symbols that are personally unique and the symbols at large. So, your soul work for the week, guys, is becoming a symbol detective. Dun dun dun. And it's all about observation. All right. You're going to find your soul work below in the resources for this episode. And it's just this week. Notice symbols. Okay. And beside each symbol, you answer questions. And you want to look for repetition, patterns, themes, emotional connections. And then at the end of the week, you ask yourself, what is spirit drawing my attention toward? Because whatever happens this week is happening for you, not to you. All right. So symbols surround us every single day. Some arrive in dreams, others appear in readings, some cross our path unexpectedly. The question is not whether spirit is communicating, the question is whether we are paying attention. This month in Mystical Minds, we are exploring the many ways guidance arrives. We're talking about the tarot, symbols, signs, synchronicities. Each one teaches us the same lesson. Spirit often speaks in images before it speaks in certainty. Next week, we'll explore signs, omens, and synchronicities and how to recognize meaningful patterns in everyday life. Until then, guys, I want you to stay curious, notice what repeats, trust what captures your attention, and remember, sometimes a symbol appears long before the meaning becomes clear. And that's a wrap here on this episode of Mystical Minds. I hope it sparks something inside of you, a memory, a knowing, maybe a nudge from your soul. And don't forget your soul work for the week. You'll find it under resources for episode. Along under there, you will also find a link to the Soulful Connection readings, the Soulful Connection Academy, and also the 3 books that I recommend you get started with to learn about symbols. If you loved what we explored today, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs a little magic in their life. And if you're craving more, join the Mystical Minds group. It's a safe, sacred space to explore your spiritual gifts, trust your intuition, and grow as a soul. You'll find support, community, and people who understand the mystical path. And if soulmates, twin flames, karmic bonds, dreams, or soulful connections are calling to you, please visit the Soulful Connections Academy, and that is at twinflamesoulmates.com, I believe. Check on the resources below, and you will see in the show's notes the actual URL. All right. And don't forget, you can get me for any other type of private reading, energy work, or Um, yeah, at outofbodyecstasy.com. I've got you whether you're seeking clarity, healing, or maybe a deeper connection to your soul path. And until next time, guys, stay grounded, stay curious, and remember endless possibilities, infinite you.